Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. And LJC is afraid that he's coming across too easy in our videos, or that he's building a reputation as a creator of fairly straightforward puzzles, and he's anxious to redress the balance. I recently had a balance redressing that was trying to go the other way and didn't. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I don't know anything about the puzzle, but I'm very keen to give it a go because I like LJC's puzzles and I like his style. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Don't forget, on Patreon, first of every month, yes, is the beginning of the Patreon reward season. We have 20 days to solve a puzzle hunt. I say that because June's is not entirely Sudokus. There's a couple of puzzles to start it off and then it moves into Sudoku territory. It's great fun. Yin Yang puzzles by the wonderful Itrio, and we heartily commend that to you. There are also connections and crossword videos on Patreon. It's a great place to get some extra CTC content. Another great place is from our apps, where we of course have an arrow Sudoku app, a domino Sudoku app, a killer Sudoku app, all relevant to today's puzzle. And our most recent one is a fog of war Sudoku app, and that is brilliant and interactive as well. We've also, of course, got a link to SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD. Sven makes this brilliant software that literally we use every day and admire the heck out of. And there's a link under the video, and to our merch. Check it out. Kit yourself out in CTC regalia. Okay, let's have a look at the rules of balancing act. So normal Sudoku rules apply 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Digits within a cage can't repeat, and they sum to the total given if it's given, which it's not for this cage, but it is for the others. Yeah, we've done the killer cages. Arrows. Digits along an arrow sum to the digit in the attached circle. So those two add up to that. Those four add up to that. And digits separated by a white dot must be consecutive. So this could be 1 and 2 or 7 and 6 in some order. Give it a try on that first link under the video. The video length is your only guide to how difficult it is. No, it's not, because LJC says it's a bit more difficult than other puzzles by LJC that I've solved recently on the channel. Anyway, let's get cracking. What are we going to do here? We're going to spot that there's... Okay, there's a repeat on that arrow. I'm going to start with the 9-7 cage here. Oh, and then I'm going to say, where do 9 and 7 go in box 8? Because now they don't go there by Sudoku, and I don't think they go on this arrow. A 3-cell arrow, and we have 3 of these where the digits have to be different. We know it's got to add up to at least 6 because the minimum cells on the arrow are 1, 2, 3. We know that those 3 cells must contain 2 of the low digits, 1, 2, and 3, at least 2 of them, because otherwise you can't constitute a number that's less than 9. And we also know that 7, 8, and 9 do not appear on such arrows because they're too big. So 7 and 9 are in that group of cells in box 8, and this group of cells in box 9. Now, I mean, fascinating, thrilling, etc. Every single one of these arrows starts off in a diagonal direction, and that's making me consider set theory. We'll try that if we have to. Let's go back to the conclusion that there's a repeat digit on this arrow. So the most these can add up to is 6, being 1, 2, 3. This clearly can't be a different digit. We'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 on all 4 cells, and that would add up to 10. That's too much. So this is the same as that. And it is 1, 2, or 3, because when you add it on to the minimum of these, it's got to keep us within bounds. This is now 7, 8, or 9. And that's probably about as much as we can instantly deduce. It's more than for most of the rest of the puzzle. These in the 5 cage are obviously from 1, 2, 3, or 4. This arrow is going to need well, I was going to say a second low digit. It might need 2 low digits here. This is the same as this, obviously. That's what that arrow's doing. Now, I don't know where we go next. Oh, I do know where we go next. We've got roping down here. Right, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a bite of my banana, so apologies to the people who hate to see me eat or drink on screen in front of them. Now, I know we've got roping here because these 3 digits, where do they go in box 7? They can't go, they're not 7 or 9, we know that, they're too big to go on this arrow, and they can't be the same as this digit because that's the sum of these 3. So the only place for these 3 in box 7 is those 3, and then they must appear there in box 8. And now if you consider these 3, where can they be in box 8? Since they're not the blue digits, they must be here. And therefore in box 9 they're here, and these 3 will rope all the way up as well. That's what we call roping. It's like braiding in a way. These are the same 3 digits in all places. And it's often helpful, so I am bothering to mark that in the grid. I will probably at some point undo a lot of the colouring I'm doing, but for now, no. I mean, again, there is quite a lot of interesting stuff. Where does that go in box 1? It must be in one of those 3 cells. Therefore, it's in one of these 2. I'm kind of running out of things I am expecting to be thinking about. Well, here's another little conundrum. Where do these 3 go in box? No, that's not the conclusion I was planning to draw. In box 2, they could, at least one of them will go in this box, interestingly, because those 6 digits are all different from each other and different from those 2. Where do these 2 go in box 5? They go in these positions, not in the same cage. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm getting to at the moment. I'm not really getting very far. Maybe let's take out the roping colouring. In fact, let's take out all the colouring in the grid. I could restore it all at a moment's notice. Is it worth thinking about set theory? Adding those 3 rows together. I don't think it is, but I'm not sure. No, I don't think there's enough information to get going on set theory, so I'm not going to do that. If that was a 3, that would be really interesting. This would have to be a set of 1, 2, 3, and that would have to be 4. And this would be 1. Ah, whatever this is doesn't appear on this arrow, so it can't be a 1, 2, 3 arrow, because that would break that cell. So this is not 6. This digit is 7, 8, or 9. That one, this one is 6 or 8, very specifically. I hadn't really seen that before. So 1 is there, and in the roping, we've got other positions for 1. Ah, if this was 1, 2, 3, if this was a 6, this would be 1, 2, 3. That would be 1, 2, 3, and this would be 1, 2, 3, and this couldn't be 7 or 9. The most it could add up to is 5. So if that was 6 with 7, 9 there, 1, 2, 3 there, this group of cells that ropes would be 4, 5, 8, the other digits. Wow, and then this digit couldn't be 4 or 5. Oh, it's impossible. That's so weird. Let me actually fill in that. I've worked this out. This cannot be 6. And I'm going to explain why, and it's going to culminate in that digit. So this I can see, but like if that's 6, This is a group of 1, 2, 3. The roping means, well, where do they go in box 7? They go there. Where do they go in box 9? They go there. This would be 4, 5, 8, which would have to go here in box 9 and here in box 8 for what it's worth. These 3 digits would be 6, 7, 9. But which digit could you put there to be the sum of 2 of those? The most they can add up to is 5, and the least digit there is 6. So that is not what's going on. And we get our first digit in the grid, and it is to put an 8 in this cell. And I find that very interesting. That means we've got a 798 roping issue here, 798 here as well, obviously. These add up to 8, and they add up to 8 again in these places. And here, wow, these 3 digits add up to 8, but a subset of 2 of them adds up to something from 7, 8, 9. Well, those 2 must add up to 7. The difference between 7 and 8 is 1, and that goes in that cell. And these 2 are going to add up to 7 by either being 2, 5 or 3, 4. And that is now a 7 in the circle. Wow, that is a really interesting beginning. 6 in this box is in one of those cells, and we can mark it because of the roping. Now, 7 doesn't go here, so it's in this cage somewhere, and it's therefore not in this cell, which is also in the same cage. It's got to be in that part of box 5, so it's already in this cage and can't go there. Now I've got an 8, 9 pair in column 4, and that digit at the top is 6 or 7. Has to be at least 6, because these are 1, 2, 3 at a minimum. Now they are either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4, and they definitely include a 1 and a 2. Now, what was the semi-roping thing we had going on up here? That digit must appear there, and then in one of those. It can't be there because it would be twice in box 2. So one of these is a 6 or 7. Neither of them is a 1 or a 2. There is no 1 in the box because we've got a 1. Ah, that 1 has come out of this cell, which is the repeating cell here, and is now not a 1. Right, the repeating digit on this arrow is at least a 2. If it was a 2, I mean, I think there has to be, once that's at least a 2, the most these can add up to is 7. There must be a 1 amongst them. Actually, I think there was always a 1 in that group of cells, but we now know it's in that pair of cells. And this is not a 1, and that's not a 4. And that is quite interesting for this arrow, which has got to have a third digit, a second digit from 1, 2, 3 on, which will be the third digit from 1, 2, 3 in the row. So 1 must be in one of those cells, because 1 and the other digit that isn't 2 or 3 must be in those cells. Oh, this cannot be a 2, 3 cage. That's really neat. This can't be a 2, 3 cage because I don't know what this digit is, but it's repeating. It's either 3 keeping 3 out of that cage, or it's 2 keeping 2 out of the 5-cell cage. So it's not a 2, 3 cage. That's beautiful too. So that's a 1 and a 4. We know the 1 is on the top because we got a 1 in one of those cells. Now, if this is 8, this has to be a 2, 5 pair. If it's 9, this is 2, 6 or 3, 5. 1 is not in this cell anymore, or in this one. Ah, this is so close. Oh, also 4 is not in that one. This is 2 or 3. Oh, if it's 3, that's a definite 2, 1 pair. Right, this is going quite well. I don't think this can be 7 anymore, and that's quite significant. I don't think it can be 7 anymore because that has to be at least 1, 2, 3 plus a 2 there. That's minimum. So this is now an 8, 9 pair. That's an 8, 9 pair. Where are the other 8 and 9 in column 6? Not in this box. One of them is in this box, and one of them is in one of those 3 cells. I'm not sure I can rule it out of that one yet, so I'm not going to. Right, this pair cannot have a 1 or a 4 in it. It cannot be 2, 3 either, because one of 2 or 3 is in this on this arrow. Therefore, we're selecting from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we can rule out 8 and therefore 9. Now we're selecting from 5, 6, 7. The even digit on that dot is a 6, and that can't be in this on this arrow, therefore. Now we've got a 2, 3, 5 triple. I still don't know whether this arrow sums to 8 or 9, but I do know there's a 5 on it now. Yeah, I was just checking I hadn't missed any combinations of 8 or 9. Because of that 4, I hadn't. One of those is a 5. Now there isn't a 5 on this white dot, and therefore that is a definite 6, 7 pair. These are from 2, 3, 8, 9 in general. The yellow digit is down there, whatever that is. So good. This is really interesting. These arrows and cages are working together really interestingly, and suddenly the dots have come into play and been also very interesting. I'm a big fan of how this goes. Right, there's no 6 or 7 on this white dot and no 8, so there's no 9 on it either. Well, I mean, actually, given that, that's pretty obvious. Also, this cell can't be 1 or 2 because they're locked onto this arrow. So this digit is 3 or 4. I'm ruling out 5 because that can't be 4 or 6. So that is 3 or 4, and this is now a group of 1, 2, 3, 4 in the box, which is a surprise. This digit also can't be 6, 7 or 8, so that's 5 or 9. I was going to say this can't be a 3. That would be wrong to say. I'm not going to claim that. The 9, though, in this column can't be in these cells because there's a 7, 9 pair. So 9 in column 3 is there at the top. There's our 5th digit. These are a 5, 6, 7, 8 quad. Is that worth pencil marking? I am pencil mark, so I'm going to do it. This is very neat. I hope I'm solving it the right way. I want to be doing this justice. It's very good. Oh. No, I was just going to get excited that 8, 9 pair both see these cells, but I don't think they could have had a 9 or an 8 on anyway. Well, they don't. They're also not a 7, 6 pair because that would break this cell. So we're selecting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for those, but this one can't be 1 or 2 because of the pair that must go in those. Of these 3 digits, only 2 will be in this pair. 1 will be floating around in box 2 somewhere. Yeah, I don't know which one it'll be. Oh, can I use this 2, 3, 5 triple? Everything else in this row is 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. In the cage, the 8 cell cage, we've had 8 and 9. So those come from 4, 6, 7. 9 must be in one of those 2 cells, and 8 could be in the 3rd one here. Now, this digit we worked out because it's also there, it must be in one of these 3, so it's quite high. It's now not 7 in column 6. I've loved so far how there's always been a little way of making progress. Okay, this digit, where does that go in box 4? It goes here, because it can't go in any of these cells by the pencil marking. Right, I am going to start to colour 8s and 9s against each other because it's time to do that. Red versus blue. Now the red, no, I've got that wrong to start with. That one is red, sorry. The blue is in one of those cells. That's better. Now, blue in box, that's interesting. I mean, there's a find. Blue in box 5 has to be here. It can't be in the cage again. And it can't be there because blue's down here. So that's blue, 8 or 9. That's blue, that's red. Red in box 2 is in one of these cells. Not going to pencil mark that quite at the moment. I don't know, it may turn out that wasn't all that valuable. Oh, one of these 3 is blue 8 or 9. It can't go on that arrow, surely. So it must go here. We might get to the point where we're asking, does this 16 cage have to have an 8 or a 9 in it to make 16? It doesn't have to, because you could do it with 763 or 754 at the moment, but things may change. Seven in box 2. It's in one of those 2 cells. Okay, how do I know that? Because 7 in box 5 has to be in one of these, and that's in the cage and ruling out those 2. So this 7 rules out 7 from these cells. So all of these are gone as possible, and it can't be on this white dot because it would have to be a 7-6 white dot, and that would break this cell. So 7 in box 2 is in one of those 2. And now it's not there, and it's definitely in one of these 2 in box 5. Doesn't have to be here yet. Although I have a hunch it will be, but my hunches often prove to be wrong. Oh, we can't put a 4 on this arrow. Can we put a 5 on it? The answer is no. The minimum we would have is 1 5 there and 2 2s. That adds up to 10. We cannot put a 5 on this, and the 6 gets even worse, etc. So we have to have digits below 4. This has to be a 1 2 3 set here, which I had not observed before. It may not do anything, but it's, yes, it will. It means these digits are from 5, 6 and 7, because in the row they see 4 and the 8 9 pair. And now we've got a little quad of 4 5 6 7. These ones must be from 1 2 3. The 2 or 3 is not yellow. Oh, I haven't given the other 2 or 3 digit a colour yet. That's quite remiss of me. Let's have a green in one of those for the other 2 or 3 digit, and in one of those, and in one of those. The 2 or 3 digit that isn't yellow is green. Now that's a 5 6 7 triple. Why isn't, maybe this is more helpful. 4 5 6 7 all done in the box, as are 8 9. So this is a low digit from 1 2 3. And it's different from that one. Oh, I don't know what that means. 2 3 5. One of these is red 8 9. Could still be there. The other one is 4 6 or 7. That means this is at most a 5. Is that interesting? No. This is a 1 2 3 8 9 quintuple. How about that? The yellow digit is in one of these cells along with the blue 8 or 9. If I made one pink, why not? And then part colour these. That one kind of explains where 1 is trying to go. Oh, well, it doesn't go there, does it? It's in one of those two. I mean, this might be worth pencil marking actually, where 1 is going. It's in one of those two cells, definitely, along with the green 1 out of 2 and 2 or 3. Now, what relationship did I start? Oh, yes, it was this 1, 2, 3, 8, 9 quintuple. So everything here is from 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we knew it wasn't from 1, 2, 3, and we knew that red 8, 9 was going to be up here. So maybe that's not actually an interesting revelation, disappointingly. Right, what next? What next, guys and gals? That's 1, 2, or 3, and this is a different version of 1, 2, or 3. I don't think I know anything about it, though. I can't rule out any of those digits in that cell. We're sort of approaching this 16, where I kind of feel crunch point will come. I don't know why. Okay, these add up to 8, and they're the same as these, which add up to 8. Either 1, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 5. And then these are either 6, 4, 3 or 6, 2, 5. That's not doing anything new. This is a clever puzzle, but it's defeating me a bit at the moment. I mean, 24 minutes in, I'm really enjoying the journey at this point. I do want to keep it going. These are from 4, 6, 7, 8 or 9. Now, obviously this one can't be 9 in the 9 cage. How do we go about using that information? Or do we actually start to focus on the 16 cage now? It can't have 1, 2 or some digit 3 or 4 in these cells. And that one also can't be 1 and can't be yellow. What if we didn't have 1, 2, 3, this would be a 4, 5, 7 cage. I mean, the trouble is I think that gives a lot of scope and it doesn't reveal what this cage actually is. Can this be red? That would be red. Red would be in one of those two cells. If this was red, right, I'm going to say that this arrow cannot be a 9 repeating. And the reason for that is because where would that 9 go in box 6? It wouldn't be able to go there because of being in that cell. It wouldn't be in this cell because that's blue and that's in the same column as this cell. And it's not allowed in the 9 cage, and none of the other pencil markings allow it. So that is not a 9. It is 5, 6, or 8. Yeah, I mean, I'm running out of information about it at that point. That felt quite clever, but it doesn't really get anything done. Oh, I don't know whether this is 2, 5, or 3, 4. 7 is in one of those cells, so it's not here. That's not doing anything here particularly either. Wow, there's some big relationships still to find, I think. We can't have 1 on that white dot. So 1 is either here or here in the column. Where's this digit in box 6? Box 5 rather. It's in one of those two cells. And then it's in one of these two. if that was a 6, this would be 4 and 5. This would be a 6-7 pair. No, I don't see what that does for us. Gosh, scouting around again, trying to find something to hang a bit of evidence on. Let's have a look at this cell, which can't be 1, 4, 7, 8, or 9. So it is. It also can't be 6, which is in one of those. So this is 2, 3, or 5. Then it's maybe worth pencil marking. If I could remove 5 from it, would be in some sort of business. If 5's on it, this group of cells that add up to 8 are 5, 1, 2. And so are these. And this is 6, 4, 3. I don't know, I still have a feeling that this cage is doing some work that I'm not quite getting. Maybe to do with the digit that's missing from it, which is in one of these 3 cells and then one of these 3. Oh, well, it's not that one that's missing from it, because that's blue and is in the cage. So it's one of these 2. So the one that's missing from this cage is a 1, 2, or a 3. It's one of those 2, and it appears somewhere here. Now, if it was 1 or 2, well, it can't be 1, because there's nowhere for that to go here. It can't be there because 1's on the arrow, and it can't be there because that can't be 2. So the digit missing from this cage is 2 or 3. One of those 2 is a definite 1. Now, is that any actual use? Probably not. The digit missing is either yellow 2 or 3 or dark green 2 or 3. And it must go, if it's a 2, it would have to go here. But if it's a 3, it could go in any of these cells. Now, if that was 1, 2, 3, this would be, both of these would be at least a 4. Wow, if that was 1, 2, 3, where would 1, 2, 3 go in box 2? They would go in those cells. And the only way you'd do the white dot is if that was 3 and that was 4. So I now know that these cells can't include 1, 2, or 4, because 4 is either on that arrow, or if they're 1, 2, 3, it's here. I mean, I guess the question's the same. If they're 1, 2, 4, where do 1, 2, 4 go in box 2? And again, it's these 3 cells. So these are selected from 1, 2, 3, 4, definitely. Now, what does that do? This white dot is getting a little bit constrained. That can't be 1 and that can't be 6. 1 and 2 have to be in that. Oh, come on. I feel like this can't be 3. What's happening if this is 3? Now, maybe it could be. That's 1, 2, 4. And they go here and here. No, it could be 3. Can it really be 5? Maybe that's the interesting question. That would be 4, and that would mean it was 1, 2, 4 being thrown and into these cells. Oh. Botheration. I mean, it's so interesting that those 3 end up in these 3 cells. So 2 of them will be here and 1 of them will be up here. I don't think that's relevant or interesting. This digit sees 8, 9 in the column, 1, 2 in the row. It can't be 4 because we've worked out the 4's either there or there. If this was 1, 2, 4, that's 1, 2, 4. No, that hasn't then proved where 3 goes in this box. So I couldn't rule 3 out of this. 3, 5, 6, or 7. That's really annoying as a group. If that was 7, this would be 6. That would be 1, 2, 3. They would go here, and that would be 4. So 7 here would lead to 6, 4, 5, and then these would both be from 1, 2, 3, and that is perfectly plausible. Very annoyingly, definitely plausible. Okay, if I could rule that this wasn't a 4, then it would be part of a 1, 2, 3 triple in the column. Is that interesting? Probably not. Okay, I'm finally noticing that red, 8 or 9, is in one of these two cells. I mean, it's worth pencil marking this sort of thing sometimes. Now, it's either in that cell or it's in this cell. So red, 8 or 9 in the row is in one of those two cells. And if this 16 cage needed red, it would have to be here. If it needed an 8 or a 9, that could be blue, I suppose. That's irritating. I'm getting stuck again. Maybe I haven't thought about this arrow enough. If that's an 8, this is a 2-5 pair. And then I don't know. If that's a 9, this is an 8. And then these are 2s. That works fine. I think what it means is that blue is always 6 away from 3, and red is always 6 away from... Sorry, blue is always 6 away from green, and red is always 6 away from yellow. I don't know what that implies for us. I could colour 6s and 7s, but I don't think that would get anything done. Oh, balderdash. Why am I stuck in this loop of not knowing what anything quite is? It was nearly coming apart up here, wasn't it? This also can't be 1, 2, or 4. In the column it can't be 7, but it could be red. And this is nearly getting eliminated down. It's either 2, 3, 3, 4, or 4, 5. If it's 2, 3, that's a 1. And then these are from 4, 5, 6, both of them. If it's 4, 5, those are a 6, 7 pair. And then these end up being 4, 5. Then this ends up being 6 in that case. Obviously, well, not obviously, but truly. No, I cannot see my way out at the moment. Okay, let's go back here. This is 3 or 4 on the white dot. If that's the 5, this is 4. Then we have the 1, 2, 3 quad here and a 6 here. That has to be 4 in that case. If this is 1, 2, 3, that can't be 5 because of this being 1, 2, 3 and the white dot. So can this ever be 5? That's really the important question. That puts a 4 here. That makes this a 1, 2, 4 set. So 5 there requires a 7 here. And a 4 here. I don't know, it hasn't ruled out 3 from being in this cell. I think this is where to focus, actually. Now, I could be wrong, I could easily be wrong, but this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 set. And the 1 and 2 are here. Oh, I can't quite see this. That 3 or 4 is not one of these, so it's not in those cells, so it must go in one of these, and then it must go in one of these. Oh, just picking away at what's going on. It's so interesting, and I can't quite get there. It's just like I'm reaching for the truth here, and I can't find it. LJC certainly has up to the difficulty level. I can't remember what the difficulty level of the last one was, but this is high. 39 minutes in, and I probably only need 1 deduction to get going again and probably finish then. But I feel like I'm a long way short of that 1 deduction. So up here we need 2 digits from 1, 2, 3, 4. That's definite. And in this row, well, that's quite interesting. We're definitely going to get 2 digits from 1, 2, 3, 4 in this row. Look, there's only 2 already placed. There are 2 to go. In this row, there are 2 to go there. So there are none to go in these cells. And these must be high digits, therefore. That's weird. Why couldn't I work that out from that grouping? I don't know, but anyway. Now these are at least 5, 6. That's 11 minimum. The maximum for this cell is 5, and that is not a possibility here, because that would require that to be a 5, 6 in the same cage. So that is not a 5. If it was a 4, these could be 5, 7. So this is 2, 3, or 4. We know it can't be a 1. So that is one of our low digits, 2, 3, or 4. Now, where is the 4th low in this row? It's in one of those 2. And the other one of those 2 is higher, is from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, okay, let's look at these possibilities. If this was a 4, this has to be 5, 7, which does a lot of interesting things in the rest of the row. If that was a 3, these add up to 13, and they're either 8, 5, which fixes this as a 6, or they're 6, 7, which makes this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that one 8, and a 9 here. And that can't happen, because 9 and 8 would end up in those 2 cells. So what was that based on? That being a 3 and this being a 6, 7 pair. That is impossible because they end up being 9, 8 and break that. But 3 is possible with a 5, 8 pair here and a 6 here, and this becomes 9. Okay, that's possible. 3 would go with a 5, 8 pair. 4 would go with a 5, 7 pair. 2 would need a pair adding to 14 here. There could be 6, 8 with a 5 here and again a 9 here. Or 14 could be 5, 9. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And this would be 6 or 8. As would this. Wow, I just don't know. I mean, I'm very close to knowing what's going on, but I don't. There do seem to be relatively few possibilities, but one with a 2, no, 2 different possibilities with a 2 that I couldn't rule out. One with a 3 and one with a 4. The one with a 3 was 5-7 here. No, was 5-8 here. The one with a 4 was 5-7 here. But with a 2, it could be 6-8 or 5-9. And I can't cancel any of those digits out. And that makes me curse. Now, where's the 4th low digit in column 9? In one of these cells. Could be a 4 there. In fact, if that was a 4, this would be 2 or 3. We would get a 5 in one of these. Oh, we cannot have a 5 in one of those cells, because where would 5 go in box 2? If it couldn't go in those cells, it would go there, and that would go here and break. So there's no 5 here. So this is not 2 of those possibilities, which were 3 and 4. This has to be a 2. 3 had to go with 5-8, because 6-7 broke for some other reason. Let me just check that. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because of 8-9 breaking that. Brilliant. So this is a 2 in the corner. And now yellow is a 3. And this is probably what we need to get going. Now there's a 3 down here. There's a 2 in these cells. And that's an 8. Blue is 8. I did previously state a relationship between blue and dark green in terms of a 6 difference, and that seems to have worked. So red is a 9. That's a 1-2 pair. This is a 1-2 pair. Down here we have a 3-8 pair. I'm really just doing the mechanical stuff so far. I'm not actually using anything yet. Now, 2 there. This pair cannot be 5-9 because we've ruled 5 out. That is 2-6-8. This becomes a 5 and is not red. That is now red and is 9. The 5 has to appear up there, and oh, this can't have 5 or 8. That's a 6-7 pair. That's a 5-8 pair. Come on, baby, bring it home. 9, 5, 8, 3, 7. That can't be 3 anymore. 6 in this column has to be in one of those 2, and in this row has to be in one of those 3. The overlap is there. This is 1, 2, or 4 on the 8 arrow. 9 has to be here because it can't go in the 9 cage, where we are going to put 4, 6, or 7. Right, it's not going to be 7 or 4 because this can't be 2 or 5. So that's a 6. Oh, sorry, that was an accident colour. This is 3. Shall I colour up 3? I don't know if I'm going to keep colouring. There's probably not any point. 8, 6 there. This is now where 7 goes in the row. This is not 5. 3 is the odd digit on that dot and is not in this cell. Neither of these are a 2. That's a 3-4 pair. That's 1. That's 2. This has become a 6. That sorts out. It takes 4 off this arrow, puts it there in the row. That's a 4-7 pair. Don't know the order. This is 1 and 9. I do know the order. Oh, yeah, okay, I was going to say, don't know how long this 9-7 pair has been available, but it's only since I coloured that red, basically. That's 9 now. That's 7, because it sees a blue 8, and that's 8, which goes blue. That's 8, which goes blue. I've got an 8 X-wing in columns 1 and 2 that's not resolved yet. That's fine. That's fine. Let's get rid of the corner marking there. Now, as to this pair, surely that's becoming clear in a moment. Maybe not. This digit is 4 or 5. That's going to be the other higher out of 4, 5. and therefore 6, which goes there, and this is 2 or 3, and it can't be 3, so that's 2. Doesn't 2 have a colour? 2 is the dark green digit. There we go. So we can tidy up some of this. That's a 1, that's a 2. This doesn't have a 2, it's 3, 4 now. We know the order. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all colours now because they have done their magnificent job. Thank you, SVEN'S Software, as always, for your wonderful abilities, which make solving the Sudokus so pleasurable. Now, that's not 6 anymore, so that's 4, that's 7. This is 6, that's 5. We can probably do 1 and 2. We can. There's no repeat digit in this 8-cell cage. Good news. This digit at the bottom. Oh, hang on. I've just mistyped something there. That's meant to be a 2. I don't know if I did that. That was the last thing I did or earlier. But still, let's correct it while we can. 4 on this line. Yes, this is a 1, 3, 4 roping around now. We can see that happening. 3 there and a 1, 4 pair. That's become an 8, 9, 8, so 2 and 5 to go. There we go. 2, 5, 6 are roping along here. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do this white dot. Yes, that's a 4, so this is a 5 on the white dot. Now that's not a 2. This is no longer able to be 1 or 3. That's 2. That's a 1. That's a 3. Trying not to rush and make mistakes because I already made one and I don't want to make another. But it was brief in duration. That's a 6-5 pair. That's a 5-8 pair. That's an 8-3 pair. And that's a lovely puzzle. There we go. Fantastic. Great stuff from LJC there. Really entertaining. You definitely... If your goal was to make a slightly harder puzzle, you did it, but you kept it fun, LJC, and that is very much to your credit. Thank you guys for following along with me. Do join in a round of applause for LJC on that puzzle, especially if you had a go at it. Let me know how you got on. You may have done considerably better than I did, but I was really struggling with row 2, wasn't it? And this blooming box that had to not have a 5 in those cells, that took me ages to see, and I should have been better at it because once they had to have a 5, they had to have a 5. That's the effect of this tiny arrow. Great stuff. Thank you for watching. Do try the hunt on Patreon. The Itrio hunt's fantastic. I will see you again soon. Bye for now.